All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Billions, season 2, episode 10. Scene 1, take 1, action. I feel so cool when I do that.
Were we live when you were asking me if I'm ready?
Yeah, that's my new thing is I don't tell you when we go live because that's when you catch like a lot of the candid moments like behind the scenes. That's what the people like.
Yeah, how I was sitting there saying, yeah, I'm ready.
Made you sound very intelligent.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I
I
could
kind
just
of, I kind of thought you did that to me after I heard you like go right into billions. I was like,
the son,
is he live
the
already?
son of a bitch. Yeah, I mean, I people want to come for the candid moments. They don't want the scripted. They don't want the fake. They don't want the phony. They want the real us.
The real me is very disgusting and an asshole.
Well, that's what they want, man. They want to. They'd rather know up front. At least if they know what they're getting themselves into, they don't have to worry about like you letting them down. They just know you're going to be gross and an asshole from the jump. So it's
That's
just like,
true.
oh, that's just Paul. That's just how he is. You know,
Less pressure on me.
exactly. You can get away with a lot more stuff. You don't have to worry about um, disappointing people because you've already disappointed them long ago.
Okay, I'm cool with this now. I see what you did, and you're doing it to help me in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like now, look, I know whoever listens to this just isn't gonna like you, so they might as well like know the real you. Maybe they can grow to appreciate you a little bit.
I like your thinking.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hopefully, it
Um,
works.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it works. um, yeah. So you said you had a question for me.
Oh, yeah. No, I was really confused because you didn't say like how's your day?
Oh, well,
What's up?
how was
Now
your day?
I no fuck you. I'm not gonna tell you now. I don't feel appreciated, and I don't feel like you actually care. So
Well,
suck
all
a
right.
dick,
I really
uh,
don't care. I was just being polite, but
asshole. I have a question for you. Yeah, actually, oh yeah, I do have a question for you. What are you
shoot.
watching?
What am I watching? Came home from work today and turned on the TV, and My Cousin Vinny is on.
Oh wow.
All time classic. I love that movie. Just something about that like stereotypical like kind of Northeast New York like really Italian guy, just like a fish out of water kind of thing. I love
Yeah.
like that movie. Have you ever seen Lilyhammer?
No. It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. It's Steve Van Zandt from played Sylvia on The Sopranos,
Yep.
and he's he basically plays the same character. He's like a mob guy that goes into witness protection and moves to was it Norway or Finland or one of the places like up there. I think it's Norway, and he's just like there's all these like Norwegian people who just like don't like he's out there trying to extort people and like pay off like you know like politicians and they're just like appalled that like someone would like even do that but he just like ends up making a bunch of money because like everyone's just like super nice and like oh hunky dory over there and he just comes in like with the dirty business tactics and kind of just takes over so it's pretty funny it's entertaining
I'll
but
have
yeah
to check it out.
yeah so this turned I started out with My Cousin Vinny I ended up just going to Lilyhammer but
I mean, from what you tell me, the Hammer is probably pretty good, and My Cousin Vinny is amazing. So
right I mean
it's okay
that's
to talk about both of them.
for sure, for sure. My Cousin Vinny's a classic. And Lilyhammer, I think there's 3 seasons. The first one's really good. Second one's pretty good. Third one, I kind of fell off. So, you know, it maybe kind of ran its course, the novelty, but it definitely worth checking out if you like The Sopranos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I actually watched some Soprano episodes when I was a kid, by just like sneak watching it with my parents when they were watching it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just think last year I watched the whole series in a couple weeks. I just been watched it on HBO Go.
Right. Yeah, I did that maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, something like that. Like fairly recently. Definitely not when it was first on.
Yeah. Shit, yeah. When it first came on, we were
In like third, fourth grade, probably.
we were young.
We were
still
young.
in school.
Yeah.
So not
Yeah.
a show we should be watching.
Right. Exactly. Now we're old as shit, and we can watch whatever we want. Can't tell me what to do anymore, Mom.
Exactly. They can't control us.
You can't hold me down.
If I want to do a bunch of cocaine, I could do it.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to bring it there, but now that you do mention it, yeah, let's get a bunch of cocaine.
I'm down for that.
All right.
We'll do it before our next episode.
I was thinking of calling my guy right now and getting it during the episode.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that, but the problem is that I'm not in the same house as you. So are you gonna have him like stop by and give me my like portion of it, or do I have to like go to you? Like, should I just take my laptop and use my phone as a hotspot, and then just like drive to you, and we'll do the show while I'm in the car still?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you to do that, but I'm definitely not going over to you. So it's up to you. Either I'll do it all myself.
So basically, what you're saying is that if I want some, I need to drive to your house.
Yeah, usually that's how it works. Like if the other person has the drugs, you have to go to them.
That's, I mean, I guess for cocaine I will.
And I mean, if we're being totally honest, I don't know if I'm going to give you any now that I think about it.
Well, that's fucked up. I drive all the way over there and I don't get any.
I mean, I want it.
I mean, I think you can spare a little bit. I did just, drive all the way to your house.
I didn't ask you to. You just showed up. You're just trying to be a moocher.
No, you told me that I had to drive to your house to get it.
I said if you wanted it, you would have to drive.
Yeah. Well, I want it. So I drove. So it's owed to me.
I mean, see, that's
an old contract. You were implying that you give it to me if I drove to your house.
You know what? New segment here. New segment alert. Ants rants. All right, ants rants. The problem with this generation.
Hold on. I like how we talked about the segment, and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this episode. Did I piss you? Did I like just hit a nerve to like make you do this right now?
You kind of did inadvertently. Yeah. So this is a new segment, Ants Rants. It's basically if something pisses me off, I'm just gonna rant about it. It's just my rant. It's Ants Rants. You said something along the lines of like, oh well, it's like you owe it to me because I drove there, or I deserve it. You don't deserve shit. This is the problem with this generation. Everybody thinks they deserve something when really they haven't worked for anything. They think, you go to college, you get a degree, you're entitled to a good job. You're entitled to a good way of living. No, you got to go earn your shit, okay? You got to go out. You have to be the one. You control your own fate. You control your own fate. You do what makes you happy, and then hopefully you become successful. And if you don't become successful, you probably did something wrong. Everybody, oh, well, this happened. There's politics on my job. Oh, no. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It's on you. If you think you deserve something, prove you deserve it. Don't just sit there and wait for it to come to you. Go fucking get it, okay? That's kind of where I'm at with this generation. It's just like everyone just like expects like, oh, I'm gonna, like I knew people. I even kind of thought this too. Graduating from school, oh, I'm gonna get a job, maybe pays $50,000-$60,000. That's where I'm gonna start. Some people don't even get there in their fucking lifetime. Why do you think you deserve right out of college? Just because you spent a bunch of your parents' money and got a fucking piece of paper, drank a lot, fucked a lot of people? You're not entitled to shit. Earn that shit. That's all I have to say.
I mean, I agree with you, but in this situation, it was my idea to get the cocaine.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yes, I'm the one that said, let's just do a bunch of cocaine. They can't stop us.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Well,
so I get the whole thing. You have to work for it. I'm just saying that it was my idea, and I said to get it before the next episode. You said to get it right now.
I'm very
And I'm not
impatient.
saying that I'm not saying that I'm not gonna chip in for the cocaine. I always pay my share for the drugs.
Money is not the object with me right now. The thing is, you mentioned drugs to me. It's like, ooh, I want. Like, it's not like you can't say, oh, like let's go get cocaine in a week. It's like, no, if you mention cocaine, I kind of need it
I mean, fair enough.
now. Well, anyway, let's stop talking about cocaine before everyone thinks that we're like super degenerates. I'm definitely somewhat of a degenerate, but not like that. But okay.
Yeah. Before we get into the episode, I want to go on one of Ant's rants right now, and it's because my fucking I don't know what the hell my downstairs neighbors are doing right now, but they're making noise and it sounds like a dying whale, and it's not stopping, and it's very fucking obnoxious. Oh my god.
Did you?
I these neighbors they have two kids. I think like the boy, the oldest one's like I don't know, like 8, and the daughter's like 3. They're the loudest motherfuckers I've ever like seen,
The kids
especially
or
in
the
a,
parents?
all of them, all of them.
They're just
The,
an obnoxious family.
they're just they slam doors every 5 seconds. Like they'll slam a door and it's like, listen, I get it. I slam my door sometimes, right? Get mad, you slam your door, whatever. They slam a door like every other 5 seconds. They'll just like slam, slam, slam. What are you doing downstairs that you were slamming your fucking door to the point where it actually shakes my floor? Stop. Like you live in a fucking apartment. You can't do that. Like they fight all the time to the point where like cops have been called. And I gotta listen to this shit. And they fight at like late hour in the night or like early in the fucking morning when I'm sleeping and it wakes me up. Stop. People have like no respect for other people.
No
It's like you
consideration.
don't live in a fucking house, man. You live in a house, slam everything. I don't care. Break your wall, break the door. I don't give a shit. Make as much noise as you want when you live in your own house. When you live in a fucking apartment, you have to be mindful to other people. And I can get behind being loud sometimes, and I can get behind being loud when sports are on because when the Rangers play and it's playoffs, I'm fucking screaming. I don't give a shit if it's 1 in the morning or not. I'm gonna be running around my apartment. But that's acceptable because that's playoffs and that's sports. If you're just slamming your door to slam your fucking door, go fuck yourself. That's what I have to say. Go fuck yourself. I
Now, let me ask you: Do you think they're just like slamming the doors? Like, well, that one still works. And they go to the next door and they slam. It, like that one still works.
I don't know what would be worse. Them being that much of a fucking idiot to have to like just that's what they want to do, or they're just slamming it because I don't even know. Fuck them. That's what I have to say. Fuck them. Fuck their 2 kids. They're moving out eventually. They bought a house together. Good. Go fucking destroy that. Leave me alone.
Go slam your own fucking doors.
It's just it's like why? It's like you live in an apartment. Just like, dude, you can't be doing that shit. You can't just. Oh, and listen, Katy Perry. Don't. Saturday mornings at like fucking 8:30. Katy Perry fucking blasting, and like I can hear the song. It's in my goddamn room. And don't get me wrong, I like Katy Perry,
Okay,
but I don't need to hear that shit at 8:30 in the fucking morning.
I agree. Although if I would want to be woken up by any one artist, it would be Katy Perry.
Yeah, I mean it's better than like being woke up by like a DMX song, I guess.
You just think there's a bunch of rabid dogs in your apartment. What the fuck?
Yeah. See that would scare me. I wake up like not fully awake. Like what the fuck's happening? At least when I hear Katy Perry, I'm like, oh, it's Katy Perry. Okay, maybe she's singing to me right now. She's gonna walk through my doorway. Yeah, I could dream. But yeah, that's my rant. Just fucking people have no respect, no consideration for other people. We live in an apartment. You gotta have that. And they're still doing this noise. It sounds like there's somebody's blowing into like a fucking like the Viking things, the
the
horns, the horns.
yeah.
That's what it sounds like right now. And they're still doing it. They've been doing it probably a minute before I went on my rant, and they're still doing it.
I'm surprised
What
I
the
don't
fuck?
hear it. A little. I have a. If you're done with your rant, I have a couple
I'm done.
stories about neighbors that are somewhat related. Um, Talking about the Katy Perry thing. Um, Somewhat, kind of related, unrelated, but I lived my senior year of college. I lived in like a row house, like the houses are all kind of touching each other, like connected.
Yeah.
And our next door neighbor, who like I said, like my room was right on the wall, touching her house, and they started renovating the house, and the room that they were doing like the majority of the work in was the room right next to my room,
Right.
and they would start construction at like 7 in the morning. Now, 7 in the morning for so like a working person during the week, that's not too bad. Like obviously you'd rather not be woken up by construction noises, but like
Yeah.
let's say you have to be at work at 9, something waking you up at 7 isn't the end of the world. But like I said, I was in college. My schedule was like 10, 11, 12 o'clock classes to start off the day. I don't have to be up for another 3 or 4 hours, but now I'm up because it's construction. Um, but one time during Halloween, I fell asleep watching Friday the 13th. It was on TV, and I woke up to the sound of a buzzsaw about 5 feet from my head. That's not one way you want to wake up.
No.
Definitely rather have Katy Perry than that. And then another one, I'll make this quick because we've been going for like 20 minutes, haven't even talked about the show yet. Um, my last apartment, one of my roommates. Well, all right, so let me start from the top. One day, randomly, our downstairs neighbor comes up and she's like, "Hey, listen, blah blah blah. Like, I don't want to, be that like annoying neighbor." She was a little bit older. She was probably like around 45, 50.
Mhm.
And she's like, I like to think that, I'm on the weekends, whatever, I'm cool. But like during the week, like, can you stop bouncing that basketball like real late at night? I'm just like, basketball?
Yeah. What?
What basketball? And I was like, and she's like, yeah, like at like, 1 in the morning, like you're sitting there bouncing the basketball while I'm trying to sleep. I have work the next day. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't even have a basketball in here. And then just my luck that my roommates just bought a basketball like a couple of days before and was in the apartment like right behind me.
Mhm.
So I just looked like a jackass. Like I'm standing in the open doorway and she's just like, well, what's that right there? I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Oh.
We had a basketball. But, and this wasn't the only time she complained. About 3 or 4 times she came up and towards the end she started getting a little testy. And
Really?
then, yeah, she was like, I don't want to, place a complaint, but like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, why? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. No one's bouncing a basketball. Like at that time of night, because I worked like late nights, I was the only person up, and I definitely wasn't bouncing the basketball, and I definitely wasn't like jumping around. I was just sitting on the couch, like ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And a little while later, I'm just kind of thinking because she said where her room was, and her room was right below my roommate's room, who girlfriend lived with us. And I'm just like, wait a minute, bouncing basketball. I think I know what that sound is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So your roommate was banging his girlfriend and making it sound like basically it was a basketball being bounced above his lady's room.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I don't think I ever addressed it with him. Just because, like, that's how do you tell someone, like, hey, why don't you stop fucking your girlfriend so that they don't call the cops on us or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
this lady hears you banging your girlfriend. Stop.
yeah, just stop. Everyone can hear you.
That's funny.
Yeah. So those are my stories. But we can get into the episode now.
Yeah.
So,
20 minutes of ranting.
yep, 20 minutes of ranting out of the way. Prerequisite. Had Ant's rants and Paul's Ant's rants.
I don't know, it just sounded funny.
That was the point, sir. So season 2, episode 10. I'm going to start just saying the name of the episode from now on.
Okay.
Just I feel like because this one it kind of applied. This one was called "With or Without You." Um, so right off the bat, Axe wakes up from his party that he didn't even go to, and Lara's gone. She left a note. You lied to me. The kids were gone. She's gone. Phone's off. No idea where she went. Um, Now, let me ask you: do you think this was an overreaction?
Um. Yes. I do, because if you trusted him, people lie, and unfortunately, you're not always going to tell your significant other the truth, right? Like, you're going to lie to them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not ideal, and everybody wants to sit there and be like, "Oh no, they're never going to lie to me." You're wrong. They will.
Yeah.
You just
Even if
need
it's
to.
like little white lies or something, like it doesn't have to be like a major lie, but like you're gonna lie
Yeah,
at some point. Like everyone
exactly.
lies.
I'm not saying that your significant other should lie about fucking somebody, or right, or like lie about something
Right.
big. But if
Right.
they're lying about something and it's kind of like on the it's like small scale, who cares? And that's what this kind of was, because her whole thing is, I don't want Bobby to see her. I don't want Bobby to talk to her. Right? He's not talking to her. So in the long run, it's like he said this to make you happy, but the outcome is still what you wanted, regardless of who set the boundaries, right? So
Right.
you can confront him and be like, okay, so you lied to me, and talk about it, but to just like up and take the kids, bunch of money, turn your phone off, and just like dip out and like disappear, that's a little extreme for what was said. I mean, I can understand if he cheated on her, lied about it, or shit like that, but he lied about who set the boundaries for their Bobby and Wendy's relationship. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
Yeah. No, I agree, but playing devil's advocate here, um, she I mean, this is just how girls are. They can be jealous, guys can be jealous too, but girls get a little crazy with it sometimes. Like now, obviously she hasn't liked Wendy for probably since the start because she sees that, her husband's telling her things that he won't even tell to her.
Yeah.
So they had that special connection, and the fact that he said like, "Oh yeah, no, I won't talk to her. I promise." Like, I'm setting boundaries, but then it turns out he lied, and he wanted to talk to her, and she didn't want to talk to him. It kind of makes it seem like he's almost chasing her.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I just think the reaction to that then is still overreacting. Like,
Right, I agree with that. Definitely an
because
overreaction.
doing what she did doesn't help anything. That's the other thing. Like, doing what she did, just taking the kids and leaving and disappearing and not like answering him, like that's, I don't want to say it's like childish, but I
It
wouldn't
is
say
kind of
it's like
childish.
yeah, I guess we could say that it's not the adult thing to do. The
Right.
adult thing to do would be to be like, I know you lied to me. Why'd you lie? Right?
It's
And try to talk about it and figure out why he did that. Like, why did he lie? What's the issue here? Instead of just leaving while he's sleeping. Like, that's just,
right.
that annoys me, to be
It's
honest
like
with you.
running away from your problems.
And I can, if he beat her, if he abused her,
Right.
then I can understand just doing that. That's fine. Do that. Go get help, whatever. But him lying to you about something like this, it's just, why wouldn't you want to just talk about it? Like, why
Yeah.
do you want to create more tension and separation between you two?
Yeah. I mean, it's again, like you said, if she's being abused, whatever, that's a different story. But it's like to just leave without even saying anything, like that's a little bit
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah, exactly. For what he did, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, so throughout the whole episode, this was actually one of my favorite episodes of this season, just
Yeah,
because you kind of see Bobby start to break down a little bit because
to
you
crack.
to crack. So um, he's calling her the entire episode, leaving voicemail. She's not answering, and it goes from him. kind of being like, "Oh, come on, please come back, whatever," to like really starting to get angry, like saying, I forgot exactly what he's saying, but he was, you know,
Are you talking about that last voicemail?
yeah, well, the last one in particular, but it gradually got to that point where you can see at first he was like apologetic, he's like, "I'm sorry, like come back, let's talk," and then it was just like, I'm sorry, but I don't really think I did anything wrong. To like, you're in the wrong here, blah blah. And then like basically he was like, I'm gonna. I forgot what he said, but he was like, I'm
He
gonna.
basically said, "I'm gonna put you on lockdown." Like he's
Yeah,
like, "I will
right.
control your life, um, like from like a remote or something like that." Like he was just saying that like come home and that's it. Like I'm gonna treat you badly. I'm gonna put you on lockdown. I'm gonna control every aspect of your life. Like, yeah. So like you see him go from being like, "I'm sorry" to "I'll fucking ruin you if you don't come back" type of shit. And it's like I think you kind of start to see um, Bobby's like true colors and just how crazy and vindictive he can get. Right.
Yeah, no, because I mean he's not used to hearing no.
No, and he's usually very calm and collected no matter what's happening. Like he always is level-headed for the most part when it comes to stressful situations. And you see him start that way, and I think because it, you know, eh, how long was she gone? It was a couple of days, right?
I think it was just one day.
Or
The
just
whole,
just
the
one
whole,
day?
yeah, the whole episode was just one day. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So over the course of the day, he's trying to like, get her back and talk to her, and he's basically hearing no from her, right? Like she's not telling him no, but she's not picking up, she's not answering, she's whatever it is. So I think that got to him. Because like you said, he's not used to hearing no. He's
Right,
used to getting his
exactly.
way, even if he has to work for it. And this is like a battle that he couldn't win.
Hmm.
And he cracked. He lost it for, two voicemails there. I mean, I think the very last one, he talks about how um, all the other men in his position sleep around and they do all this stuff, and he's never once did it. And he's
Yeah,
basically says to her, like, um, shouldn't I be rewarded for that? I could have done that all the time. I could have at least now, if I did that, you'd have a reason to be mad at me, and I would have got my rocks off, whatever he said.
yeah,
So, he went from being sorry to being like, no, like I'm right. Like you're fucking wrong. Get back here.
yeah, yeah, and that's I kind of agree with that to a sense. It's like with the position he's in, he could do whatever he wants. He could have divorced her long ago and been on, his little bachelor
Yeah.
tour or whatever. But he stuck by her. And we saw in the one episode earlier when he was with that singer girl. He like thought about it, but he was like, "No, I can't. I got the wife or whatever."
Yeah, and it's, I'm not saying that he's right in saying all of that and being like, well, if I wanted to, I could have fucked a bunch of women, but I didn't. You should like appreciate that. But I think she does play a like she does share blame in this, because if she didn't leave like that, I don't think this would have happened, right? Like they might have had a fight, yeah, but at least they would have talked about it, and it wouldn't be as bad as it is.
Right.
And and he deletes the voicemails too.
Yeah, which is real.
So
So you can
it's
see he hasn't changed. He's
yeah.
still kind of sneaky, but and I think he's gonna hold resentment against her for this.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think their fight's over, because at the end
No.
of the episode, when she actually does come back, I couldn't hear what she said, but he talked about like a thunderbolt, I think, and she said something that got blown up by a car. I don't know. I didn't follow that part. I don't know
Yeah, I
if you
didn't get
did.
that.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't follow. But she was like still like super cold to him.
Right. Exactly. So, we're definitely not at the end of it. But I wonder now if, because she's back, like he's gonna go back to like that calm and like calculated person. And I wonder if he's
Oh,
gonna get back at her. I wonder if he's gonna try to kind of, get back at her. And I think Bobby needs to be careful
yeah,
with what he does. Her brother isn't in the show that much, but her brother's a fucking cop, detective.
yeah. I
You know,
mean, listen, if the district attorney can't get shit on Axe, I don't think or
Oh, I didn't
detective?
mean like legally, because when he went to
Okay.
the house,
Oh yeah, right.
the brother basically said like for women that go back and like they're too scared to like say anything again, like we just get the guy, roll him in a rug, and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not saying something's gonna happen like that, but you
Which
can have all the
like
money in the world, a guy can still go shoot you in the head real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, listen, if I was Bobby and I was sitting there, that guy was telling me all this stuff about like abusive husbands, like, fuck you, dude. I never laid a hand on your sister. You know,
yeah,
like we got to like yeah, I lied to her literally once, and she's just like acting like I shot her dog.
yeah. Like I said, I
It-
think she's overreacting. But I also think Bobby just needs to be careful on how he handles this whole situation.
yeah, no, I agree. And this I thought was kind of interesting. There's that one scene when he's in the pizzeria and he's telling Bruno, the old guy, who's like, "Hey, come on, come sit with me, come talk with me," and he's just like super cold to him also because he's shutting down his nephew's town or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could tell he's kind of starting to slowly alienate everyone from his old life. Like all the people, remember a couple episodes earlier, he goes to talk to the fireman about the whole 9/11 thing.
Yep.
Like he used to be a man of the people. Now he's kind of like inadvertently distancing himself from all of them, just based off of his actions. Not even things he said, just his actions. Like, yeah, I cashed in on 9/11. I cashed in on stripping this town dry.
Yeah. Well, that's
Um,
because, the people that he grew up with are like not wholesome people, but they're like um like a man's man type of guy, right? Like not corporate
right,
CEO making $1 billion.
blue
Like
collar.
exactly, the working
Yeah,
person. So, and his business goes directly against that for the most part. Like, he no
it's the
longer
exact
can
opposite.
relate. Yeah, he no longer can relate to them.
Right.
Growing up, he could. He came up just like them. But
Hmm.
now he doesn't. There's a disconnect between him and those type of people. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and he, like I said, he's making decisions that are um, alienating everybody. And I think you gotta remember where you came from. You gotta remember the people that you met along the way, that were there for you, that were your friends before you got
Hmm.
big.
Right.
Because usually those are the people that are your friends through everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because they knew you before. Because money changes people. Money can,
Yeah,
you get money and all of a sudden you don't think you have to. You can kind of do whatever you want, and it's so those are the people that know you the best because they're really you before you got all that money and all your fancy new friends and everything.
exactly.
Right. And kind of sticking on the same topic, a little bit different. I thought it was interesting that the CIA guy was just able to track down Wendy like that. And, like that was I don't know if she knows who he is, but when he just walked up her, he's like, "Get in the car."
Yeah.
Like I was expecting her to like kick him in the nuts and like pull out like mace and just like run.
I think. See, I think this is why he kind of needs to be careful. Um, I I think Wendy is one of those untouchable people, and unfortunately, from what he was saying in one of the voicemails to Lara, he was saying, "I'll erase her. Like if that's what you want, that's what it takes to get us back to talking, and everything. Like I'll erase her from our lives." And I kind of got a vibe from it, like not just I'll fire her,
Hmm.
kind of like if she, if you hate her this much, type of thing. Like I'll make sure she disappears, type of shit. That's kind of the vibe I was getting, like on how not threatening he got towards the end of the voicemail, but on how he was just like, I'll erase her for I forget exact wording, but it just sounded like he meant I'll ruin her.
Yeah, he
I'll
seemed
just
desperate at that point. That was like,
yeah,
they said it was like the 5 stages of grief kind of thing. Like I don't know what 5 stages this was exactly, but like that was definitely like desperation was one of them.
yeah. So
Like,
I don't know. I just hope Bobby's careful. I'm not Team Bobby. I don't think. Like I know on Twitter a lot of times, like when they're talking about the show, like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm Team Max," or "I'm Team Chuck." I'm Team Chuck for the most part. Like I used to be on the fence, and I just didn't really take a side. But I'm leaning more towards Team Chuck. Uh, and, and one of the reasons is because they have they on Team Axe. Fucking hate that person.
Then, which
Uh, we'll get into that though.
yeah, I mean that's actually a good segue. Did you have? I mean, did you have anything else with
About
that?
Bobby and Lyra.
Yeah.
Um, no, 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 no. I'm good on that one.
Okay. So we'll segue into Taylor turning to the dark side. Um, we've been seeing these last couple episodes. She's been kind of going back and forth on whether she's gonna break bad or if she's gonna stay good. You know, she was like real reluctant about getting the private jet last episode. She was worried about the carbon footprint, and at the end, she's riding it. And you can see the little smirk on her face right as the episode
Yeah.
ends. In this episode, um, there's a couple of things that kind of lead her to this point. In the beginning, she bumps into Brian. Oh, she doesn't bump into him. Brian was following her at that coffee place and tries to get her to come in. Gives him a card. She goes to work, and then eventually she gives him the call back. When she shows up, and they're talking, whatever, blah blah blah. And then she realizes like I don't want to do this, and kind of just like tells him off and storms out.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, I know I'm here because you don't have shit on him, and you just kind of grasping at this point."
Yeah, and she says something like, you don't have shit on me either.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why, like Brian's being nice to her, right? Like he gave her
Yeah.
like coffee and like cookies and shit.
Yeah.
So she's like, I mean, she's not dumb, right? Like she's a smart person. So
She's
like
very smart.
she knows that like if they had shit on her, he would not be this nice to them. Like
Right.
they'd be coming after her. They wouldn't be like, oh, here's some cookies. They'd be like, listen, we got you. Fucking work for us, right? And
Yeah.
so she's right. But I also think that Taylor doesn't really know what they are getting into fully because as smart as they are, when the DA does get something on them, I could be wrong, but my prediction is she fucking crumbles. She's gonna fucking crack. There's no way she holds up when they have something on her, and I think it's because she's so skeptical. Like you said, through the whole season, she's skeptical about really joining Ice Capital and working there full time and the decisions that they're making. And now she's starting to be like, all right, well, this is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now
No,
she
for
has like
sure.
a nice apartment that was like
Yep.
20,000 a month. That's fucking absurd, by the way.
That's insane.
I mean, it was a nice apartment, but holy fuck,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. That's that's like a year's salary.
Yeah, just
For a
about.
normal person. But I think she doesn't fully understand what she's getting into. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
No, yeah. You can tell she's kind of being wowed by all the money and the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah.
The private jet, the nice apartment, the $500,000 bonus she gets in the episode. And I think she's starting to realize that like she's really like better at this than just about anybody.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I mean, if I'm this good at it, might as well run with it.
And she gets promoted. He
Yes.
promotes her to
Like
head of
analyst.
research or something like that. Yeah. Yep. So she is getting like wooed by all this money and nice stuff and the jets, and I just don't know if she fully understands the shady shit that she'll have to do to keep making that money or make more money.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think she's that strong of a person mentally to like withstand the DA and the government when they actually do have something on her.
See, I mean, I'm sure it depends on what they have, but I feel like with the way they are, which, by the way, when Brian said what we were all thinking, he was like, I was like, I can't get used to this. Like, yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. But I could see, if they have like a little something, but not like, 100% solid proof. Like, I could see her like holding up and just be like super calculated and like But yeah, if they had her dead to rights, I don't know what their reaction would be.
I mean, because she says something about like I guess her and Brian were or they or Brian were referencing a movie.
Yeah.
They were talking, and I think it was Ed Harris and Tom Cruise were the actors, and she says to him, or they say to him, uh, "I fucking hate that dude. That still bothers me.
I know it's so annoying.
I'm all for you being called they, it, and there, but I just can't. I can't remember to do that.
It's
Oh
because
my god.
you're programmed to say it one way. It's just like, oh, now you have to change everything you've ever known for this one person.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. Like I said, I don't care. Like you want to be called they, that's fine. Like you
Yeah.
identify as neither female or male, and it's they. That's cool. All I'm saying is like, don't get mad at me when I fuck it up because I'm not
Right.
doing it to be a dick. I don't remember, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel like most of the people that like that they want to be called that, and then you fuck it up, they're like so quick to be like, oh, you fucking son of a bitch! Like, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, that's not what it was, man. I just fucking forgot. I've only known him or she and all that for my whole life, and now all of a sudden there's a they and it that they're. And, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, look, if you want to be recognized as you want to be referred to as Lamp, then sure. Like I'll call you Lamp, and don't be surprised when I forget that you want to be called Lamp, like a fucking idiot.
Exactly. 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 Just don't get mad at me when I fucking forget, because I'm gonna forget.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they
There's
say to
another Paul's Ants rants. Just throwing them.
yes,
Like
yep. That rant has happened like I think every couple of podcast episodes so far.
it's a recurring Paul's Ants rants.
Yeah. Look for it in the next episode also.
Absolutely.
So they say to Brian, the reason that Ed Harris like was mean to Tom Cruise was because Ed Harris knew Tom Cruise saw the bodies and where they were buried.
Yeah.
Meaning that Ed Harris had something on Tom Cruise to get him to talk and all that. And she's right, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
They are right. They don't have anything on them yet. But I'm just wondering if when they do have something, I'm not saying something like, vague. I'm saying when they have something like substantial to go after them with, I wonder what they're gonna do.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
and
hope they crack because I fucking hate them. I just think they're too not too smart, but they're so snobby because they think they're very smart, right?
yeah.
Like just like that rant about the sparrow, wherever the fuck they were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my
What
god!
the fuck was she talking about? So
Like that's what somebody does when they just want to show how smart they are. Like that's exactly what that is. It's just like, well, I'm so smart, I'm gonna fucking explain this in a very fucked up, stupid way that I don't need to do. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I can, because I'm so super smart. And
yeah,
you're dumb.
I'm gonna make it more complicated on purpose just so you feel more dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So fuck
But
them.
I mean, you were talking about how they don't have anything on them yet. With this klaxon thing, with the klaxon for the car with the recall, she saw Dave signed off on it. As we just spent 5 minutes ranting about this, I still forget. Yeah, they signed off on it. So like, if
Yep.
anything comes down to it, like it's going to come back to it. Or it, yeah, yeah. No, not it, them. Them.
Yeah, no, you're right. And they were skeptical to sign it too. When McPhee comes over and it's like, oh yeah, you don't have those papers, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm just waiting to sign it. And he's like, so should I tell Axe that he's gonna get the papers? And then they just like repeat it, like, yeah, I'm just waiting to sign it. So like
Yeah.
very skeptical about signing and putting her name on that. Or I'm sorry, I think she says they say I'm just waiting to put my name on it or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So I think they're skeptical too. They're not 100% sure if they want to put their name on something like this, just in case it comes back to bite them in the ass. And I think it will.
I think they were skeptical, but then once they went to go talk to Brian, they saw that the DA had nothing
Yeah.
and was just like, all right, I'm running with this.
I mean, hey, listen, that's a lot of money, and that type of money changes people, regardless of how you know, how for the environment you are and like for the little person and doing good for the world. When you get $500,000 as a mid bonus, like whatever that he called it, a mid season
Man,
bonus, whatever,
yeah,
like that's a lot of money.
that's
That's
more.
$500,000
That's more
for a
than
bonus.
most people make in like 10 years.
Exactly. And that's a bonus that they got just like a mid bonus for the season, not even like the final bonus at the end of like the year.
Yeah,
So that type of money changes people, man. It definitely does. And I don't think anybody can sit there and be like, nah, that wouldn't change me. Until you have that type of money, you do not know.
right.
Because that money changes, like, can change your life. I mean,
Life changing. Yeah,
she just fucking started to rent an apartment for $26,000 a month, dude. I've never once thought about doing that. But if I had $500,000 as a fucking bonus halfway through my work year, I'd fucking be doing that. You know,
yeah,
like it's yeah, that shit changes you. Doesn't matter how good your conscience is and how obligated you are to people and helping the world. Get $500,000 just like that. That shit changes you. I don't
yeah.
care who you are.
That's the kind of money that could change your family tree.
Exactly. So I don't care who the fuck you are. That shit changes people. So
For
you
sure.
know she's definitely committed. Definitely committed
Yep.
to this whole thing. So we'll
She,
we'll see where that goes with her.
they're definitely leaning towards the dark side at this point in time.
Yep.
See where that ends up at the end of the season, next season, whenever. But
And I do want to say like I know like we're saying the dark side like we're referring to like Bobby. I
yeah,
think this show does a good job at the DA side of the things, which you can consider, I guess, the light side, isn't even that like
nope.
good of a thing, right? Like, so there
Yeah,
is no clear good person, and there's no like super clear bad guy. Um, and a lot of shows, it's very like cut and dry most parts, right? Like it's like this is
right.
the bad guy, this is the good guy. This show does a very good job at blurring the line between that and making both sides like a gray side type of thing going on. So
No, absolutely. Both main characters are they're very multifaceted. I mean, they both have their good sides, and they definitely both have their bad sides.
yeah, so when we
You
say
know,
dark side, referring to like Bobby and everything, it's not that we're saying dark. Bobby's the bad guy because you can definitely go to Chuck and be like, he's the dark side too with what the
yeah,
shit that he does. So
just a different side of the dark.
exactly.
Yeah, opposing sides, both dark. But yeah, I mean, for some reason, I don't know why I get this vibe, but I feel like Taylor probably not going to last out through the like. I don't. Maybe next season they'll be in it. But like, I feel like Taylor's not like a series long character. I feel like at some
No.
point they're gonna get caught for something, or I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't think Taylor's gonna be around forever. Just that's my.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I would agree with that. And I think there's like three possible things that could happen that I can kind of see. It's either she gets caught doing something and they have her dead to rights and she flips, right? Um, she just leaves, disappears,
yeah,
right?
take the money, and run.
Yep. Or she grows the conscience again and she's like, what I'm doing is fucked up, and then just flips on Axe anyway.
Yeah,
I don't, like I said, I agree with you. I don't think she's some like a person that's going to stick around until the final episode of the final season. I don't think
right,
that's going to happen.
for sure. Yeah, that's just how I felt about it. But so we'll get into Chuck a little bit. I guess we could start with the vetting process. So, shout out to what's her name, Mary Louise Parker.
That was her.
Yep, that
Like
was
the
from the
first
mom from
episode.
Weeds.
Yep. The first episode. I mean, not the first episode. The first scene she's in. I thought it looked like her. And then she started talking, and I was like, I haven't seen Weeds, but I've seen clips, and I don't remember her sounding like that.
No, there
And
was definitely more of like a southern accent, but you could tell
yeah.
like just the way she talked.
Okay.
Just like 'cause she kind of has that lackadaisical, like kind of airhead, uh, ditzy kind of way that she talks, where she just kind of like she's talking, she's there, but she's like, yeah, like kind of like this and like that, and like it always seems like she's kind of a little high at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I didn't know it was her. And when I said I've seen like a scene of Weeds, I mean I've seen the scene where she gets fucked on the bar.
The classic scene. The
Yeah,
classic
that's the
scene.
only thing I've seen of her in that show.
We is a really good show.
I've pretty much only heard good things about it, but I've
Yeah,
never I haven't started it. I've never like sat down and like, I'm gonna start Weeds today.
yeah. I mean, I want to say there's like 7 seasons, and it's definitely one of the shows that maybe had a few seasons too many, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch it.
Okay.
I thought it definitely had a better ending than Dexter, which I think is I compare them because they're both Showtime shows, and both of them went on a little too long.
Okay, I was gonna ask
Definitely,
you what like TV network that was on.
yeah, Showtime. It should be on Netflix, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, Dexter definitely had a higher peak, but Weeds was more consistent.
Okay. Yeah, Dexter. I watched season 5 and that was it. Like after that, I was just like, I'm done. Season 4 was the best one. I'm gonna pretend it ended there.
The Trinity Killer.
Yeah, I think that was season 4, right?
I want to say it was season 3, but I'm not. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe. I
I
don't
could
know.
be wrong.
Yeah. No, but I did the same thing that you did. I watched the season with the Trinity Killer, and I watched the next one, and I was just like, "Wow, this fucking sucks." So I stopped watching for like 2 or 3 years, and then I just randomly got back into it one day, and the sixth season was actually pretty good. There was like a religious killer where he was killing. It was kind of like the movie Seven, where he was killing people and like the different like deadly sins. I think like
Okay.
gluttony. I think he was doing stuff like that. So it was interesting. And then season 7, I don't think I really finished. And then season 8, he becomes a lumberjack, moves to Canada.
Becomes
Or
a
so I've heard. I never finished it, but yeah. So Chuck's getting vetted by the mom from Weeds, and they're just kind of. I guess he's kind of. It seems like he's holding back a little bit in the beginning,
yeah.
and then even when he starts telling her like the bullying story, it like he's acting like he's opening up, but he's still holding back because he's not telling the full truth. Um, and then she ends up finding out that he was the one that got bullied and all this stuff. But the the part I really want to talk about is the laptop.
Yeah.
So he he has his fetish, his domination fetish, and in the beginning of the episode, you see that someone is with the mistress. That's what you call it, right? Mistress.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Little gotta shape up on my dominatrix lingo. But someone is with her. It feels good to be able to say her and not have to like change it to they after.
I know. Or like stop before you speak to like
Yeah,
really think about it for a second.
but now like I'm still stopping to think about it because like it's just now like because we were just saying they so much before. Now I have that kind of programmed and have to switch it back. Um, See, that's another thing. If everyone, I'm going to do a small ant rant. If like everyone who wanted to be called they just came out and said it, and it was like a normal thing where you just had like he, she, they, them, whatever, like, and it was just like it wasn't like one in like 100,000 people that wanted or whatever the numbers are now. Like if it was more standard, it'd be easier to remember.
Yeah. No, yeah,
But
absolutely.
anyway, that's my mini ant rant. Um, what was I talking about? Laptop. So yeah, so the person's in the room with the mistress, and the mistress walks out for a minute. This guy just grabs the laptop and runs. Now, I thought that was Chuck at first.
Really?
Well, at the very first, like you see a guy
Right, right.
wearing a mask, like you can't see. The guy runs out with the laptop, and then you find out a little bit later that Chuck knows the guy somehow, but I don't. Now, did you recognize the guy that took it?
Yeah, that was the guy that his dad hired to follow Four Eyes and Brian and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now the thing is that I'm guessing that Chuck, because I don't think Chuck knew that guy personally, right? So I don't know if
Right.
Chuck like told his dad what he needed or just like said, okay, like I need, the guy that followed Brian and Four Eyes, I need his help with something. Let me get his number.
Wait, 4 Eyes. That who's 4?
The
Oh, okay, yeah, 4 Eyes. Yeah, gotcha. The
yeah.
internal
Yep.
investigation guy. Um, I call him Herman.
Oh, is that?
I kind of just thought of it. He looks like a Herman.
Yeah, we can going forward. We'll call him Herman. We'll refer
Okay.
to that guy as Herman. I
All
like
right.
that.
But yeah, so I didn't realize that because I was watching it and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? No idea who it was, but so that makes a little more sense. So and again, at first I thought it was Chuck, and then when he's meeting with the mistress in the sandwich shop, which by the way, I love how she calls him Mr. Martinez.
Yeah.
Couldn't be farther. Like at least call him Mr. Smith or something that's like believable. But you're walking around public, oh, Mr. Martinez, like that guy's not a Mr. Martinez. That's a fake name. That is a fake name.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not very sneaky
No, it's
to call
not.
him Mr. Martinez.
Absolutely. Um, but yeah, so she's saying, "Oh, someone stole my laptop." And she's like warning him. She's like, "Oh, just like you know, I don't know if they'll come out to hurt you or whatever." Like basically, just give him a heads up. Like my laptop got stolen. I don't know what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
But it seemed from that he didn't know who took it. But then at the end of the episode, he gives the laptop to what's her name? I want to learn her name in the show. Minchek.
Yep.
Miss Minchek. Um, I love how Chuck's dad's like, oh, she got a tight little body on her.
Dude, his dad is
He's
so
such a dog.
obnoxious. Like, not only is he just like basically saying that she's super hot and everything, but he's like before they started talking, Chuck and her, he's like in the room just not leaving.
Yeah.
And then at one point he comes in, he's like, "Oh, I thought I heard my name. I thought I heard my boy call for me." Like, bro, no.
Nope, definitely not.
That didn't happen. Go back to the other room, you asshole. Like you can just see how happy he is.
Yeah, he's just like, because that's what he wanted. He wanted a political career, and now his son finally getting it. It's like that dad who always wanted to like play Major League Baseball, but he couldn't. Now he wants his son too, so he's like going all out with it. A little bit stranger because he's a grown man now, and a little bit more pretentious because it's not baseball; it's becoming a politician. But regardless, it's similar.
Yeah, it's basically the equivalent of that for rich people, right?
Right. Because they're already rich. No one you don't. If you're already rich, you don't have to play baseball to get rich. It's like I'll just sit here and be rich. I don't have to go train every day and play 162 games a year. It's like there's no point of rich people playing baseball or any sport for that matter.
Exactly. You become a politician.
Yeah, you kind of sitting around and bullshit and just like, well, let's just shut this town down and and do this and yeah, no, I agree. But so he takes the laptop, he gives it to Minchek. Who knows what she's gonna do with it? I don't know. Probably gonna delete it all. But so yeah, I was just confused because Chuck seemed like he didn't know who did it, but then he's the one that handed the laptop over personally. So maybe he is in with his dad.
Yeah, I think he was only making it seem like he didn't know just to put up a front for her.
Right.
Right? Because I don't think he want to come out and be like, yeah, no, I stole it.
Yeah.
You
gotta be trusted.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think he knew about the whole thing, and he's kind of the one that wanted it to happen. Because yeah, you don't want that laptop to be out there like that.
Definitely not, especially with the fappening and everything that's going on. Like, if you become like a mayor or a politician, and all of a sudden someone hacks your dominatrix's computer, and all of a sudden there's these photos of you getting peed on and burned with cigarettes.
Exactly. That's not a good look.
No, it's not. Definitely not. Kind of sticking with Chuck, I want to talk about his relationship with Wendy in this episode.
Mm.
So, obviously at one point they kind of tried to split it up a little bit and try their own thing, and that didn't really work. And you could tell the last couple episodes they're kind of warming up to each other a little bit, but by the end of the episode, it would appear that they're back together. They're sitting at the couples counseling waiting room, and they're just like, "Fuck this, let's get out of here." They go get dinner. They have a lovely evening with Chef Antoine, whatever. Which that guy was obnoxious.
See,
obnoxiously French.
In fucking French people. In like one part of the episode, I think it was this episode. Do you notice that like somebody handed Chuck like a folder with like a picture in it, and it was like that guy's picture for the restaurant?
I didn't notice that.
Maybe I'm making that up, but I'm pretty sure that happened. And I think I don't know the whole full story, but I think she says like, "How did you find him?" or something like that. I think Chuck like tried him for something like back in the day. And I don't know, they liked his cooking before that, so now he just like has somebody track him down or something and like plan this whole thing.
Well, the impression I was under was he said, because they showed the recap before. He was like, "Oh, I went to." I don't know if it was before. Yeah, I think it was before the recap. He was like, "Oh, I tried to go to Bistro, whatever, I guess whatever that guy's old restaurant was." He was like, "Oh, it closed down 4 years ago."
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, that's too bad." So I guess because at one point she's like, "Oh, how'd you even find this place? How'd you find him?" And she was like, "The long arm of the law." So I'm guessing he used his powers, which sounds weird. So like he's like a superhero. Uses his resources to track this guy down where he's at now.
Yeah, like I think the guy did something illegal because like when he sees Chuck, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't cook the books here" or something like that. Like I'm too busy. So I think something happened.
I kind of just took that as like him kind of joking with the district attorney, like that's what he prosecutes people for, basically. So I don't know, maybe it's possible he did something in the past. Maybe it's foreshadowing that Chuck and Axe could become friends down the line.
Yeah, after he convicts Axe, they can become friends.
No hard feelings, buddy. I'll come visit you every weekend.
Yeah, we'll be best friends.
Now, that would be a hell of a move if Axe got sentenced to life in prison and just Chuck went there every weekend for the rest of Axe's life to just like torment him. Hey, buddy.
Like I won.
Guess who? But yeah, so after the dinner, Chuck drops Wendy off at home and he's turned around, he's driving away, and she calls him. She's like, "Get back here."
Just turned around real quick.
Yeah, he didn't even look, just pulled a Yui in the middle of the street. He gets there, full dominatrix outfit. Immediately just like shackles him up. She's like, "Let's take off your fucking clothes." Okay. Tell me twice.
Yeah. Do not have to convince me to do that. I'll do it.
She's like, "I've had to pee since we left the restaurant."
He just gets super excited when he hears that.
Yep. And you can tell earlier in the episode when he met with the mistress and she like stepped on his hand with the high heel, you can tell he was missing that.
Oh yeah, it looked like he was getting off on that already.
Just because someone's stepping on his hand, which is fucking weird,
right? Like, dude, I don't get that.
Like, listen, I'm a huge, yeah, exactly. To each their own, different strokes, different folks, different strokes, whatever. But like that, someone just stepping on your hand, like he's like, oh.
I could understand, like, okay, you're getting like tied up or whatever. But like, dude, she just stepped on your hand. Does that mean like when you put your hand down and do something and some like person steps on by mistake in public, you're just like, "Oh my god, oh yes."
I have to go change my pants. I'll be right back.
Yeah, like that's your reaction to being stepped on. I mean, hey, whatever.
Yeah,
you got Wendy, so
again, to each their own. But yeah, so they're kind of, it seems like that they're back together. And this is where I kind of want to bring it back to the title of the episode, "With or Without You." It's because Axe for the majority of the episode, and even once Lara comes back, is the "without you" part.
Yeah.
And then Chuck and Wendy are kind of like the "with you" part. So it's just like I don't know. It's just interesting seeing the two sides of it because it literally flip flopped in the course of an episode. Like it was you know Bobby and Lara for like a while, and then Wendy and Chuck were split up, and now in the span of one episode it flip flops, and now Axe is kind of reeling, and Wendy and Chuck are happy.
Yeah, and I do want to say I think the only reason that Lara actually even went back to him that quick is because of Wendy.
Yeah, no,
Because Wendy
absolutely.
goes to talk to her, right? So
I'm glad you brought this up, but yeah, keep going.
yeah, so she goes to like the apartment that they're staying at, and I was like, oh, like Bobby sends you, and she's like, no, I'm like here on my own, and they talk, and I think it's a interesting scene because Lara like hates Wendy,
Hmm.
like they don't get along. It's not a secret. Um, but during that whole scene with them, you know, Lara's in the same spot that Wendy was in, right? Like
Yep.
estranged from their significant other, like their husband lied to them, all the kind of shit, and she says to her, does it get easy, or does it get you get stronger if you get through it? Like as a couple,
Yeah.
do you get stronger? And she's like, I don't know. I hope so. So I think it's a cool
Yeah.
moment that you see like these two people that like don't get along at all, but now have like something in common, right? And like
Right.
for like that split second, they're okay with each other.
Yeah. For the first time ever, they're both kind of vulnerable with each other.
Yeah,
They're able to kind of like open up and be like, clearly both of their relationships aren't the most solid. So it's just like, what do we do from here?
yep,
But I thought it was interesting how, Wendy went to like juice lunch or whatever with Chuck earlier in the day. And
right.
then after that, went to go visit Lara and then ended up getting back with Chuck later that night. So you can kind of tell when she was there with Chuck, it was like a kind of welcoming, uh, uh, calming kind of interaction. It wasn't like a therapist meeting. It was just like kind of like old times. They're kind of sitting around joking, whatever. And then she went to go talk to Lara, and I feel like she talked herself into taking Chuck back by telling Lara to take Chuck
Yeah,
back. Because at one point she was wearing her therapist shoes, or it's like I don't know. I still don't know therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist. I get them all confused. But
I think most people do.
yeah,
I do.
I don't think I'm alone there. I couldn't tell you what the difference between any of them are. But for most of that conversation, she was wearing that hat, and if you don't know the backstory with her and Chuck and how their relationship is, you would just assume that was her being kind of therapist-y the whole time. But you can kind of tell some of the things she said towards the end that it was kind of she was kind of like convincing herself to take Chuck back. So I thought that was interesting how she kind of talked herself into it, didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I think it's because like she was able to see kind of the same thing that's happening to her marriage happening to that marriage, and it let her really take a look at it and figure out what she kind of wanted to do.
Right. She was saying I don't know, and again I don't remember exactly what she was saying. She was saying sort of things to Larry, like, oh, you have to like remember this or remember why you liked him in the first place,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
then
Yep.
that's when she was just like, okay, I get what I have to do now. Like
Yeah.
she kind of understood it.
Exactly. Yeah. She's saying like, isn't that what attracted you to him in the first place?
Yeah.
And she says to Lara, she says, forgive him. Like if you can forgive him, forgive him.
Right.
Um, and I, like you said, she convinced herself of what she needed to do for her own marriage when she was talking to Lara.
Hmm. No, for sure, for sure. And that was again. You said you enjoyed that scene. I did too, and that's why this was one of my favorite episodes. Was because it wasn't just about Chuck chasing Axe or whatever. Like there was a lot of kind of personal development and maybe even regression with some people
Yeah.
throughout this episode. I would say Axe took a step back maybe, and Chuck and Wendy kind of took a step forward.
Yeah, I think it's an episode that was full of relationships getting stronger and people growing closer and people growing apart and relationships being strained.
Yeah.
That's what this whole episode was about. You have Chuck and Wendy, who were very close and strong, and through half of season 1 and all of season 2 so far, they were apart. They didn't know what they wanted. At least Wendy didn't. Um, Wendy's sleeping with billionaire
The spaceman.
playboys, spacemen. Yeah. So, um, and now she and Chuck are now back to being closer together. Then you had Bobby and Lara, who have been like with each other the whole time, like backing each other up, always supporting each other. Now you have them like she just left. She literally disappeared.
Yeah.
So and then like we talked about earlier, some of the people that he grew up with, and the people that were there for him before he had the money. He's kind of straining all those relationships now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the episode I loved it. It was episode. It wasn't really about them trying to chase each other or get back at each other or hurt each other. Like I'm talking about Chuck and Bobby. It was
Yeah.
really just about them focusing on their relationships with the people they care about. And you had two extremes of it, right? You had, like I
Yeah.
said, Chuck and Wendy getting back together and realizing what they want and what they need to do, and then you have Bobby and Lara kind of, or at least Lara, questioning the marriage and who she married and what she wants.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's, again, bringing the title back into it, the with or without you. Um, I just like the duality of it. I don't know if I'm using that word right, but um,
I think you are.
okay, it sounded right in my head. But yeah, no, because I mean, again, as we find out at the end of the episode, Boyd tells Axe about the ice juice thing, so he can kind of that Chuck Senior is getting invested in, so he can kind of he's going to try and shut it down. I don't know exactly what he's going to try and do, but even
Try to fuck
despite
him over.
right, exactly, he's going to try and fuck him over somehow. Um, so even with all the relationship problems, he's still plugging forward, and then you switch over to Chuck, and he's still pushing forward with his agenda.
Yep.
He's handing the laptop over to McKinney or what's Minchek. So he's still on the same path, and so is Axe. But it's just like I'm going to do this with or without you, and then one side is with, one side is without. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes more sense in my head than it is coming out of my mouth. I don't know if you can follow it. Don't really care if you can or not because that's all I'm going to say about it. But yeah, I don't know. Did you have anything else about Boyd and Ice Juice and everything? Or
Yeah, it sucks to be Boyd.
yeah,
Dude's a fucking janitor now.
yeah, exactly.
So that sucks. So Boyd tells them about the ice juice thing, and now Chuck's trying to, not Chuck, Bobby trying to fuck Chuck over and ruin it for him. And I think it's gonna be interesting because Chuck's whole plan with this ice juice thing was to kind of taunt Bobby, right? Wasn't that like the whole like reason behind doing this was like to like bait him into doing something?
yes, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So I'm wondering like how this is now. I don't want to talk about the coming attractions that they showed at the end of the episode. We'll just say that for next week, obviously. I'm just curious to see how this is really going to play out now. Like, is it going to work and he's going to bait Bobby into something, or is it going to backfire on him? Are they both going to get hurt in this whole situation? Because like I said,
yeah,
that was his whole plan, was to do this to draw Bobby out into doing something.
yeah, no, and honestly, it could backfire on both of them because Bobby
Yeah.
could do something rash, and also at the same time, Chuck took the money out of his blind trust, which he's not supposed to touch while he's in public office, and use that to invest in it. So
Yep.
both of them could get in trouble. So yeah, it's interesting. We have 2 episodes left, I think, right? There's 12 in the season,
I believe so. Yeah.
12 or 13, probably 12. They usually go with the even numbers, but yeah. So getting down to the wire, and a lot of people complain in certain shows when there's like not a lot of action and like it's more of just like character building. And I see that side of it, but this episode is one of the better character building episodes I've seen in a while.
Yep.
And I was able to appreciate it. And I'm glad they got it out of the way right now because we got 2 episodes to kind of finish the season off with the bang.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is the perfect timing for this episode too. You know, like right before shit's about to go down, they have like this not mellow episode, but like this episode where they're not going after each other, and there's a
Hmm.
lot of internal conflict happening between Bobby and his wife, and I have Chuck and Wendy getting back together. So this is a really nice episode to kind of like set everything up for the two big ones that are gonna come
Right.
now.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's about all I had on this episode. Oh, small Wags watch. Uh, not really a Wags. There wasn't much Wags in this episode, but
Yeah.
when he first walks into Axe's office and he's like kind of pacing around and he's just like, "Oh, I lied to Lara." And he's like, "Oh, what'd you do? Did you do this, do that, do that?" He's like, "No, it's just like it's the only time I've ever lied to her." He did the look on his face when he said that of just pure like disbelief that you've never lied to your wife. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's because Wags is a fucking psycho.
Yeah, he's been married and divorced like 4 times.
he all he does is probably like lie to the women. So like to
Yeah,
him, not lying to your wife is like unheard of. That's just not that doesn't happen.
that's just how things work.
Yeah, like you lie a bunch. Like when she asks you where you were last night, you don't tell the truth and say I was in a hotel getting an IV in my arm because I got really fucked up last night. You lie and say you had a business
Yeah, I had to work late, honey.
meeting. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. I'm kind of upset we don't have as much Wags happening.
Yeah, I'm upset too, man. I don't know where he would fit into the whole thing.
I mean, even
But
if he was just there to like break up the seriousness of the episode, right? Like,
yeah, that's
wouldn't
true.
mind that.
Yeah, I need a Wag spinoff like before Billion started, like how he got to
Yes,
where he was. That's what I
yes.
need.
Because
Like do like
when
a
he was
Better Call
younger,
Saul.
yeah. Because when he was younger, he was getting fucked up big time.
Yep.
He probably toned it down a little bit, I'd say, over the years. And then like, obviously this season he was all fucking over the place for a while.
Right.
But I think that'd be fucking awesome. It's just him getting really drunk, fucking a bunch of prostitutes, doing drugs.
But like I want it to be like the same guy playing him, like the same actor, but like they'll just give him like better hair and make him try and look like he's 20, but like not really make him look like he's 20 years younger, just kind of like a real shitty job at it. Like he's just wearing like a wig and like a spray tan or something. Like I want to see them do a terrible job. Like I don't want it to like I don't want them to hire someone who looks just like him but younger. Like I want that guy, same actor, wearing a wig and whatever young guys wear, like go out and party and just like going like that. But that's just me.
I'd be down for that. I would watch that show.
Okay, good. As long as you watch it. Yeah, it's about all I had for the episode. Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I had to.
Okay. Do we have a sponsor today?
Yeah, we can get a sponsor. So this show is brought to you by Loot Crate. I ever heard of it? It's you probably have seen the concept a lot now. It's basically like a company offers you like a box of like different shit, and like you pay a monthly fee, and they send it to your house. You've probably seen it with like food, like Fresh Direct or whatever the fuck that box is. They send you like fresh
Yeah.
ingredients and you cook with it. So this is Loot Crate. I think it's one of like the first ones to first company to start doing this. And basically what it is it's different boxes now, but it started off with just video game boxes. So every month there would be like a theme, and they would send you a box. It's like $13 a month. That includes shipping and all that. And it's just an assortment of shit from that theme. Like they'll give you a T-shirt from like different stuff, some collectibles, maybe like a poster, shit that you don't normally would see on in a store type of thing.
Yeah. Right.
So if you're super into like video games or even like pop culture now, it's nice. I wouldn't recommend like subscribing to it for a long time because you're gonna get a lot of stuff and you're gonna run out of room.
Yeah, I'm sure.
and you'll turn into an episode of Hoarders. Um, but it's cool. Like if you're interested, like for example, Halo. I'm a
Hmm.
big Halo fan. Have been since Halo 1 was out. All those years ago. Um, they have a box that's Halo. So it comes with like a T-shirt from Halo and like some collectibles, and some like just like lore related shit. Like they have like a folder there. It's like top secret, and it's like shit that somebody wrote that relates to the story of it and everything like that. So it's a cool little concept. I think it's overdone now because like every company has some kind of like subscription box you can get. Like I think wrestling
Right.
has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you get like wrestling cards and like figures and
Oh,
shorts and
sweet.
shit. So like yeah, it's there is like I said, it's all over the place with it. There's ones for your pets now. Like you get
I've heard
uh
of Bark. It's Bark Box, right? I've heard about
yes.
Bark Box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like treats and toys and all that kind of shit.
They even have that with like certain clothing companies. I know there's clothing companies where they'll send you like a bunch of clothes, and then you just like
Yes.
kind of keep what you want and send the rest back.
Yep. There's a few of those now. So it's like I said, like when I started doing Loot Crate a couple of years ago, this wasn't really like heard of. This is like was a
Right.
brand new thing. Now it's all over the place. You can go to every type of company has their own little loot box you can have. But it's cool. Like you can go on the website, you can check what the theme's going to be for that month, and then buy that one if you want. So, like they had even for TV shows, they've had
Okay.
some stuff from there, like Doctor Who.
Okay.
I haven't watched any Doctor Who. I heard it's a really good show.
I haven't either, but I refuse to watch it just because Benedict Cumberbatch is a fucking weirdo. I know it's like all. No, he's not that. No, he's Sherlock. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm for some reason I'm anti that show just because it's really Brit. It's really
Yeah,
British. I don't know.
it's yeah, I haven't watched it. I heard it's good, but like they had a box and they had like a shirt from that. I was a shirt for James Bond. One of the shirts I have is that.
Okay. See, I can get down with that Brit.
Yeah. One of them was it was like a villain themed thing. So it combined on the shirt Joker from Batman
Okay.
and Loki from Thor, and it was like Jokey was like the name of the guy, and he was sitting in like a throne, and he was dressed up like a mix between the Joker and Loki. So it's
Okay.
cool. I don't know. It's cool. I like it. I
Yeah.
like the loot crate. I like getting all these like little goody things and collectibles and everything. So, you know, check it out. Whatever you're into, there's probably a box for it now. So it doesn't have to be loot crate. You can, if you like wrestling, there's one for that. If you like sports, I'm sure there's one. There's even military ones now, like
Really.
survival. Yeah, like the Doomsday people, like Doomsday preppers. There's even ones for that now, where you can like get a box every month as like special forces guys like handpick the items and shit. Um, so yeah, just I guess the ad could be just for the concept of like a subscription box because you can
Gotcha.
find one for whatever you like. So
Yeah.
if you
So
like something, check it out.
that's it's Loot Crate. That's promo code Butthole,
Yep.
and you get nothing off with that. You'll just get a please try again invalid promo code when you put in promo code Butthole on the website. But
But if you do it 5 times, it might work.
it probably won't. But I guess there's that
But it
off
might.
chance. Maybe put like Butthole 69 as like the promo code. That might work. Who knows?
Yeah. Blue waffle. You could put that.
No, no, let's not put that.
I assure you, if you put that, the code will work. It will.
I cannot verify. I cannot confirm. Um, yeah, but if anyone does want to actually give us a real promo code we could use, we're open to uh, being bought out,
Yeah.
paid off, if you will. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to endorse tampons, I'll endorse tampons. I'll
Depends
endorse
for men. For men.
depends for men. that's, that's the one with Tony Saragusa, right? The commercial.
Yep.
Like, I'm Tony Saragusa. I pissed my pants.
Dude, when I first saw that commercial, I was so confused. I was like, what?
The first time I saw that commercial, so I went to St. Joe's, and they're in the A10 conference for athletics, and the A10 basketball tournament was on. I want to say it's like CBS Sports.
Mm.
Like every game was on there. So this was when I was in college and we were watching the games, and they put that commercial on like every 10 minutes. And I was just like saying to my friends, I was like, I don't think Tony Saragusa signed up for this commercial to be played like 1,000 times a day on CBS Sports, and everyone in the world knows that he just pisses his pants all over the place.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting sponsors out there. I remember back in the day, there was a couple of baseball players who were like Viagra sponsors. And it's just like, really, you want like that getting out there? But I guess you pay someone enough, they'll sponsor you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess if the money is right.
Listen, if they want to give me some free Viagra to plug it, I'll give it a shot. Never tried it, but
Yeah, if you are gonna pay me enough, I'll say I need Viagra.
just pay me in Viagra, and we'll be cool.
Well, I don't know about that. I think I'd rather have the money.
I had so much Viagra, I don't know what to do with it. I had no one to use it with.
So supply the women too, then? Like, give me Viagra and escorts.
Give you Viagra and women now. I don't know if it works like that, but maybe if I just take enough of the Viagra, it'll be like a mating call kind of thing. Just like
a scent gets released when you take enough of it, and then like in the air, the women just like.
I was just gonna say that like if you're walking around full mast all the time, like that should draw enough attention.
Oh. Yeah, that too. I think that it might draw the wrong attention.
I mean, not even like just like if you just kind of accidentally like bump into someone, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and like, what was that? Oh.
See, yeah, I feel like it can go a couple ways from there. Either you can get the cops called on you.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a couple of ways it could go, but if you just tell them that someone slipped Viagra into your morning coffee, then not much they can do. It's a medical condition. It's like
it's not your fault.
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Good will hunting them. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. All right, so yeah, promo code butthole. All right, that is our show. To anybody who's listening out there, look for our movie podcast to start back up soon. We've had some conflicts of schedule, what have you. We haven't been able to do it for a couple months, but we're gonna do it soon. I promise we're gonna do it soon. Well, I want to do it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Shots fired, but yeah. So look out for that on iTunes. Bingeaholics Anonymous. Check us out on Facebook. Bingeaholics Anonymous. Instagram. Bingeaholics_Anonymous. _Anonymous. And then on Twitter, I think it's just at Bingeaholics. There's not enough room to fit the anonymous in there. So, real quick, any last words before we skedaddle?
I'm good. 100% good.
Okay, my last words are I'm bad. I'm 100% bad. Make sure you binge responsibly.